Hey folks, I want to talk to you this morning about eye of the round roast, what we do with it. So if you like what you see, hit the like button, subscribe, it helps my channel. So this is a whole eye of the round roast. It's on sale this week for under $5 a pound. And a lot of people think it's a tough piece of meat, and you know it probably is if you do it the wrong way. But here's what we do with it. The first thing we do is we'll chop it and cube it. And then we'll boil this in a mason jar, 500 mil or 750 or 1,000, whatever your family likes. There's nothing else in this, just pure meat stuffed in a jar, and then we boil it for 3 hours. We don't have a pressure cooker, but 3 hours makes this safe. This is my son-in-law's mother's recipe, very much Mennonite style. This is how they preserve their beef. Next thing I'll do is I cut it into steaks, about a 1/2 inch thick. Leave all the fat on, don't take the fat off. This can be used for a steak. You can tenderize it with a meat pounder. You can slice this for, excuse me, you know, like a stir fry. This is how it looks. We put everything in vacuum bags that goes in the freezer. We don't just wrap it in butcher paper, but you could. This keeps it fresh and it lasts me. Next thing we do is a jerky. So I'll cut a thick slab and then I'll slice it diagonally, very thin, not, you know, like cracker thickness, and then marinate it overnight with a mixture of soy sauce and teriyaki and a little bit of garlic, salt, pepper. And tomorrow I will put this in the oven at 200 degrees for about 3 hours, depends how dry I like it. And again, I'll vacuum seal it in small portions. In a bit, I'll show you how we do the vacuum sealer. It's a very simple machine. So these are the vacuum bags. You can buy them in various sizes. I buy them from Amazon, Canadian Tire, Home Hardware. They might seem expensive when you first buy them, but the amount of food you save for not having freezer burn, I find these fantastic. And I mean, if I buy a pack of chicken breasts, I'll split them up, vacuum seal it. Wings, vacuum seal it. Hamburger, vacuum seal it. So what you do is this is your vacuum chamber here inside this black rubber. So you just tuck your opening of the bag in, lock in for the seal, and it'll run on its own when you hold the trigger until when the light goes green. That means it's doing the heat strip to seal it. So if that doesn't work like that, and if it just keeps running, that means that you're sucking air through the seal. You just got to adjust the bag a bit, lock it back down, hold the trigger until the light comes on. So once I seal it, I pull it out about 1/4 inch, lock it in, and I do it again. I put a double seal just to prevent that from leaking. Sometimes they'll leak in the freezer. That's it. So now you've got vacuum sealed 2 nice steaks. You can see the sealing strips there. And that, for $5 a pound in beef prices these days, is all meat, a little bit of marble. Don't cut the fat off. Fat's flavor. If you don't like it, you don't have to eat it, but cook it with it. And again, you can stir fry these, barbecue these. You can pan fry them with a bit of mushrooms and peppers and onion, and it makes a good dinner. That's how I do the jerky. So this piece is this way on the roast. So I cut a slice out that thick, as many as you want, and then I just so I'm going against the grain, and that's kind of how thick you want it. You can do it thinner if you like, but too thick and it doesn't dry out inside. I like that dry, hard, almost leathery texture to my jerky. So this is the marinade part of it. Before I move on, I always keep your knife nice and sharp. Nice sharp knife's a safe knife. Anyway, so this is the marinade. So I start with soy sauce, sesame oil, Worcestershire, teriyaki, salt and pepper, and I usually put a little bit of brown sugar after, and I mix it up, gives it a bit of a sweet taste. And if you watch my previous cooking video, I don't measure anything. This is just kind of what I see by eye. You want this to be wet. You don't want to be swimming in it, but you are soaking this meat, and you want this mixture to absorb in the meat overnight in the fridge. You don't have to use all of these or any of these. You can just do it plain salt and pepper if you like. Salt is very important because it draws the moisture out of the meat before you put it in the oven. So tomorrow what I'll do is I'll lay these out and I'll towel dry them as dry as I can get them before I put them in the oven. And that's it. I'll stir this up, put the lid on it or wrap it in plastic, and we'll show you when it's in the oven. So I changed my mind. I'm not going to use brown sugar. I'm going to use honey. That's it. Once you stir this into the meat and put it in the fridge, it doesn't hurt every couple hours. Pull it back out and give it another flip. And you should see a lot more liquid in here because the salt will draw the moisture out of the meat. And throw your lid on. And that's it. So this is the jerky after I marinated it overnight. It's in the oven right now at 225. And I'll just watch it. You can see there's already drawing a lot of liquid. It's kind of sitting in the corner there. I'll soak that up with a paper towel. And I'll leave these 2 hours, 3 hours. I leave the door open a little crack to help get rid of some of the moisture. And I'll show you when it's done. So this is about a 3-hour dry. They can go a little bit longer if you like, but they're getting nice and dry and good flavor. And that's how it looks. So I'm going to show you here now. This is the size of the cubing that I do to put in the jars to boil. So it's about 1 inch thick. And again, I don't cut any fat off unless it's, you know, if it looks like it's really like a piece of tendon, yeah, you can chop that off and get rid of it. But other than that, that's about the size that I do. You want them to fit in the jar. You don't want to put hamburger in the jar, but you want them to go in the jar, and you stuff them down with a wooden spoon so there's tight, no air. If you can get all the air out, that's all the more meat. This will make its own gravy, and when you boil these, when they're done, you'll have a fat layer on top of the jar when they cool, and you put them in the fruit cellar. You don't refrigerate it. And I'll tell you, you just take that jar, pour it into a saucepan, add a little bit of cornstarch or flour to thicken the gravy, and mashed potatoes. You've got a fantastic meal. Hey folks, so this is how I fill the jars before I boil them. So that's just the beef eye of the round, and I jam it as hard as I can. No air space in there, just fill it right full of meat. Now when I boil these, I don't have a pressure cooker, and some people might say that that's not safe. I don't know. I've never used one. The people that taught me this don't use one, but we do boil it for 3 hours. We've made hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bottles of tomato sauce every fall. We boil it in a barrel, not under pressure, and never had a problem. That being said, you know, when these jars come out of the hot water bath, the lids will be sunk in. You won't have that clicking noise, and that means that they're sealed. If you take them out of the bath and that jar is bubbled, eat it right away. Don't put it in storage. And when they're in storage, check them every now and then. Make sure that they're still sealed. So you can see that jar is pretty tight. Now these are 500 ml. You can use, whoops, sorry. You gotta wipe this with a little bit of vinegar on the top just to clean that seal. If that's not clean, they're gonna leak. And that's all I do. So that'll go in my pot, and I'll show you that when I get the boil going. And I just do them hand tight, don't over tighten them. So I got my jars all full. I got my boiling pot. I always put a little cloth in the bottom. It helps to protect the jars from cracking. If you've got one of those mesh risers, you can put that in. It just keeps the jars from direct heat. And then I just pack these in. And I will take this out, fill it full of water over the lids, put it on my little electric cooktop out there for 3 hours. I'll show you what they look like when I bring them up. Hey guys, so this is done. It's been about 3 hour boil, and you can see there's liquid all the way through that meat, and I put that meat in there bone dry. So that's just the juice that was drawn out of the beef. And when this cools, because this is really hot, you'll get a fat layer around the top seal here, and this will all kind of solidify, almost jelly-like from the fat from the meat, and that's how we preserve it. Okay.